Hey everybody, it's Nate Ritter again. Today, back on the beach again. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Figured it'd be a great day to smoke a whole chicken. So today we're going to be doing this whole smoked chicken with a little bit of rub. We'll post those. We'll talk about that a little bit later, and we'll post those ingredients. And then we'll be doing that over cherry wood today. So once we get that on the smoker, I'll kind of talk about the benefits of cherry and poultry specifically. So going to be splitting open this turkey. Alrighty. So doing this outside just because I find making a mess inside, it's just easier to clean it up when it's outside. So I'm going to set that down. So got a whole chicken directly from Costco, and you can see that it's already, for the most part, pretty cleaned. All the innards, everything's been cut out. So I like to go through and kind of trim up a little bit. I'll take a little bit of that extra fat, kind of loose skin right around the bottom, and clean that up a little bit because those parts are just going to burn in the smoker. So you can also see that it's got the neck there, so I like to cut that away as well too. You can use it for catfish bait or whatever you want. So that's all looking good. For the most part, everything's looking good. So for today, we're going to be using a little rub that I made up. It's mainly just going to be salt, pepper, and just a little bit of paprika for coloring. So I like to start first on the backside. Again, kind of presentation's everything. You start there, and then when you flip it back over, that'll leave all the seasoning there. A nice presentation at the end. So I like to leave a little bit of the juices on it as well too. I find that extra moisture helps that rub stick. So kind of like I had talked about in that last video, I like to keep extra seasoning container around just for mixing my own rubs. So I'm going to start off and just start lightly seasoning all of it. It's going to be a little tricky with that wind, so I'm going to try to keep it a little closer. And every so often I like to give it a nice big shake. Kind of helps redistribute all those seasonings. So yeah, it's definitely a little tricky. Grab the wings, kind of lift up, get underneath the wings. There we go. Now you flip it over and just do the breast, legs. You can see it's just kind of spraying around everywhere because of this wind today back on the beach. Like I said, I like to make sure to lift up everywhere and get a nice good seasoning. That'll help the skin. Once it crisps up, it'll give a nice kind of bark on that chicken. So at that point, I like to kind of come back in, and I'll also season the cavity a little bit as well too. As it's kind of going, I find again that seasoning kind of helps release a little bit of those flavors. So I'm going to go back a little bit over here just because a little bit rubbed off. All right, there we go. So sometimes you kind of take that extra hand and kind of make sure that that chicken's well seasoned. So pit barrel again, we're going to be smoking that meat. So coming through, I got a nice hanger, and this is going to catch that chicken, allow that to hang in the pit barrel, and this hook will rest on those rebars again. So as you can see, get that nice presentation ready for the smoker. So I'll get that set up over by the smoker, and I'll join you guys back again here in a minute. Alright, so got the chicken in now. I got some cherry wood in there. So today we're using cherry chips. Since it's a shorter smoke, I find that the chips with this pit barrel cooker kind of releases a little bit more flavor earlier in the cook. So it's not good for longer, like something like a brisket or a pulled pork, but for something quick like a chicken, which is going to be in for about 2.5 to 3 hours, I find the cherry chips are great. The cherry wood also gives a nice light sweet flavor with a little bit of red coloring in the meat. So it's a great wood for poultry. I did it this past Thanksgiving for the turkey, and it turned out phenomenal. So we're going to use it today for the whole chicken. We kept the rub pretty simple as well too, just like kind of the rib video. I like to keep it pretty simple and really let the subtle smoke flavors play through in the meat. So that's going to be it for today. As far as prep and getting it onto the smoker, pretty simple, pretty easy, and it turns out great. So this is going to be in for about 2.5 to 3 hours. We're going to come back and check it in an hour. So we'll see you then. All right, so it's been an hour on the cook now. You can see that nice color coming in on the chicken as the smoke's going on. So it's got a nice, lovely kind of reddish brown kind of crust starting to develop on that skin. It's important to keep that lid on, especially for the first hour. It's very tempting to keep checking, whatever you're smoking. But as the saying goes, if you're looking, you ain't cooking. So try to keep that closed as much as possible. So again, kind of like what I was talking about with the ribs, this pit barrel cooks roughly about 275 to 300 degrees, which is definitely on a hotter smoke. But again, that'll help develop a nice crust on that chicken, crisp up that skin very nicely. Another thing of note with this pit barrel cooker, and I'm going to do a review for you guys a little bit later and talk about why I love this so much, but what's actually happening is as that chicken's cooking, those juices are actually dripping down onto those coals and that wood. So not only are you getting a great smoke flavor because of the wood and the charcoal, but you're also getting almost a rotisserie effect as those juices run down that chicken and the meat and drip onto those coals. Those juices are going to evaporate and come back in this lovely just smoke kind of fog on the meat. So temperature's starting to kind of pick up on this chicken now, so I'm going to close this lid again, and I'm going to be checking again here probably about an hour and a half, about the 2.5 hour mark, and this chicken should be done roughly about then. So I'll see you guys here in a little bit. All right, everybody. So it's actually been about 2.5 hours, actually coming up pretty close to the 3 hour mark. Hopefully you guys can see that, but the chicken is looking really good now. So I actually just probed it about 5 minutes ago, and I'm showing about 150 on the temperature right now. So we're going to finish it off at 165. So it's got maybe about 20 to 30 minutes left in the cook. So as a tip, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to crack this cooker and leave about a 1/4 inch opening on the lid. What that's going to do is it's actually going to bump up the temperature internally and actually allow that skin to crisp up just a little bit more. So it should be roughly done here in about 20-30 minutes. So I'll catch you guys again here in about 30 minutes. All right, so we're back again. We got the chicken off. It came out a little past 3 hours. I left that lid off for about 20 minutes, and as you can see, that this chicken just came out beautiful. That rub turned into a very nice crust. Leaving that lid off the last 20-ish minutes gave the skin a nice crispy texture, and we finished it roughly about 165. So Just like I talked about in that rib video, it's important to let your meat rest. If you slice into this too early, all the juices are going to run away from the meat, and it's going to end up being a little drier than had you just waited a little bit. So we're going to let this meat rest. For whole chickens, I give it about probably about 15-20 minutes. So about 15-20 minutes, I'll be back with you guys, and we'll give it a little taste test. The smell is just amazing. The cherry wood also gave it a nice color, and as we slice into this, hopefully you guys can see just kind of a little bit of that reddish tint in the meat that the cherry wood gives. So I'll be back here in about 15-20 minutes with you guys. All right, everybody, it's been about 20 minutes now, letting this chicken rest. So the temperature should be good. The juices should be back into that chicken. So again, the importance of letting that meat rest, I cannot stress highly enough. So keep it up with tradition. I'm going to taste test it, and we'll see how this recipe turned out. I'm going to take off a little bit from this breast meat right up here on the top. So nice, juicy, still a little hot, but oh man. That turned out phenomenal. So I didn't talk about it too much about why I did this rub, but just like the ribs and kind of that Texas theme, I really like to keep my smoking very simple. I like to not get in the way of the tasting of the meat and the smoke. So that cherry wood, it's a very light, subtle smoke, a little bit of sweetness to it. So too complicated of a rub, barbecue sauce all over the chicken, you're just not going to taste that cherry wood at all. So salt, pepper, and just a little bit of paprika just for a little bit of color really complements the meat, really complements that cherry wood. In a future video I'm going to do, I'll have all the woods out, and I'll talk about which meats are really good and which wood and meat combo works really well from my experience. But cherry wood, that was the first time trying it over Thanksgiving with the turkey, and I absolutely love it for poultry. I cannot highly recommend it enough. So, yeah, this is Nate Ritter, having fun doing this, and again, you guys will be seeing more of me here in the future. So, catch you guys later.